So these are the general pre-med majors. I'm personally the MVP. I'm gonna supposed to enjoy the other ones, but yeah, you can be any major you want as long as you put over prereqs. Yeah, because these are the ones that most easily fill all the med prereqs like OChem, bio, just all of that. Especially since UCI also major locks a lot of these popular classes to those majors. It's kind of tough. And then these are the other majors that you can get a specialization or a minor in biosci, and that also helps with getting your upper div classes, lower div classes, because they fill up super fast. Like I have a roommate, she's like just pure BME, and she tried to do OChem this quarter. I think she just couldn't get it because it filled up so fast. Yeah, suggested pre-med courses. Most of these you're already going to be taking if you are a pre-med major, but if not, you're probably going to have to think about like how you're going to squeeze that in. Yeah. So for obviously UCI, you need to have a regular writing. So I did writing 50 and 60. I didn't actually have to do 50 because I had an AP score. So besides that, you know, just general bio. I know for pre-med BME, I only have to do 97 to 99, but others, in order to do 97, you have to finish 93, 94, 95. So that should be like 2 years of bio. And then Gen Chem, which pretty much everyone should be taking. And then OChem, your second year or third year, it depends. Physics, I know that bio has its own course 3A, right? 3 series or the 7 series. I personally took the 7 series. That's more engineering focused. Calculus, A and B, so just up to integrals. And then stats is highly recommended for a lot of med schools. But again, you're probably going to have to check your specific med school. I know UCI Health does want that. And yeah, biochem. And then pretty much the same stuff for pre-health in general. Anatomy and physiology, I know is also really good, especially if you're more interested in like clinical as well as just like maybe nursing. Like maybe if you find out that med isn't really the path for you, nursing is also a valid path. And then obviously psych, anthro, those 3. I personally did psych and anthro. Those are also just kind of helpful in rounding out your both like GPA as well as just general knowledge. And then about the same things for pre-health. And then UCI courses, obviously, these are just basically the specific courses that relate to the stuff on the left. I'm going to assume that most of you are pretty familiar with this, especially if you're already in a pre-med major. But again, this is also a very helpful reference if you just need like a quick page to glance over just to help plan out your next couple of years. And then, yeah, again, always check on the med schools that you're targeting. Just be like proactive in that. Make sure you do your research because this is a long road and you don't want to like be in your 4th year and realize, oh shit, I'm missing something, you know? So yeah, next slide. And then
yeah. So basically, there's graduation and major requirements, and then there's pre-med requirements. So those are kind of, depending on your major, can be 2 different things or 1 thing. So which is why they recommend to take like bio courses. So then your school and major requirements will be the same as like your pre-med requirements. And so for your major requirements for those courses, you're going to have your GE, which is also known as your general ed. It's going to be basically just general education of, you know, psychology, English, writing, history. Like I'm sure a lot of us, like for American history, we use like our high school history credit and like stuff like that. Just a little bit of education in every subject, regardless of where you're at, major wise. And then for your school, this is specific for every school. So if you're like School of Engineering for BME or for biosci, it's just School of Biosci. And so basically in those schools, they have school specific requirements, and I would recommend going on DegreeWorks if you aren't already familiar with that. And they will talk about in your major what your school specific requirements are and what you would need to do to fulfill that. And then we have some like sample.
I will say for DegreeWorks, it's also really helpful because they just give you a list of like all GEs that fit every single category that you could possibly need, and then you can just pick and choose from that.
So here's just kind of like an example of all the course offerings and like when they're offered. So for example, for some of them, like if you're taking 1A, 1B, and 1C, they obviously like if you fail like 1A fall, then you can retake it in winter, but then you don't get 1A offered in spring. So then you'd have to wait again in fall. So some of these courses, since they're all like ABC or just like in order, they only offer it in certain times. So it shows here like fall, winter, or spring, what and when these courses are offered. So we have one for biosci and farm sci. And this is just like the requirements for the bio majors specific to your school. So anyone in the School of Biosci, like these are things that you have to complete. And just these websites are really unique because you can just like have them already and they just show you like everything that you need to have. So yeah. So yeah, do you guys have any questions or concerns regarding like the classes? Oh, and like we mentioned, like DegreeWorks, the UCI student access portal is really great to also seeing like your current transcripts if you want to ask for that. If you want to apply for like withdrawals, it's like a portal with a lot of different things that you can do with student access. And then in student access is where you can also find on the left hand side DegreeWorks. And in DegreeWorks, another cool feature, if you aren't already aware, is you can do the what if. So what if basically like if you go in the what if section on the tab, it like you can put in if you want to add a minor, you know, in neuroscience or whatever other minor you want to add or a specialization, then it shows you what other classes you would need to graduate and what classes you've already taken that satisfy the requirements for said additional major or minor that you want to add. So this can also be used if you want to like switch majors from like bio to chem, if you're like I'm a chem girly or boy and stuff like that. So yeah, you can see like your requirements, your progress, how much you've done, what you need to left. And you can also make meetings with your advisors, and I'd really recommend that because they could help like plan out your schedule, know what classes you need to take if you're on track with your graduation. You can also meet with the biosci majors specifically, regardless of what your major is, like even if you're in engineering or any other thing, for pre-health. So we have like specific pre-med advisors in the biosci community. And if you go on their website, like book an advising appointment, you can ask them and they will cater from like your major to what you need for pre-med. So like you can meet with them and the advisors from your school, and it would be really helpful in kind of figuring out where you're at and what you want to do, because it's really good to plan out the classes that you kind of want to take. And the more you get to know like your advisors, you can also ask them for a letter of recommendation, and that looks pretty cool. Yeah.
I want to add something real quick. For the pre-health, the pre-med advisors, not just like they help you with your pre-med stuff. They can also recommend clinical opportunities, volunteering opportunities as well. You can just ask them, like, I want volunteering opportunities, and those help. So definitely consider your advisor since it's a good resource. So yeah.
Yeah, and so now the questions or concerns. If you guys have any questions, you can ask up here or ask your mentor. Yeah, so you guys have any questions about classes, what you want to take, where you're at, schedule, recommendations.
When are your guys' registration times? Oh, let's see.
That's 29.
Nice. 28. So I checked the schedule of classes.
Oh yeah.
And then
have you guys
just-
got a good idea of what you want? Like which site are you using? There's like a couple that help you do the classes, right?
Yeah, the Zot something. Yeah.
Yeah, statistics. You all know about statistics?
Yeah, that one's autistic. And then the almanac one.
An almanac also works, yeah.
Yeah.
Zot schedule.
Yeah.